Greetings, survivors. Welcome back to the channel. Where you been, Fall Down? I've had a lot of stuff to do and a lot of real-life stuff that's come up. I'm sorry, there have not been more videos on the channel, but this one is important. This is a review of the newest beta branch that just went live. There's a lot to go over on this. I'm going to save some of the more interesting changes to the end. It'll be a long discussion about lethal difficulty and all that. But first, let's get right into it. There's some neat stuff here that I think is phenomenal. All right, there are some really good changes around functionality. There's some really good changes around playability and around kind of balance in general. Now, to start off, the creme de la creme of changes in this round is the introduction of the sidearm slot in your inventory. We can see it right here. You now have the option to have a primary weapon and a secondary weapon. Secondary weapons are anything that is a sidearm, any pistols, any assault pistols, some of the assault shotguns as well will go in here. So you have a lot of options for your sidearms. Obviously the primary weapons are all going to be the same that you've been using to this point. Rifles, shotguns, 50 cal, you know, whatever you want to use here is fine. You cannot equip two pistols. You cannot equip two primary weapons. All right. Now, how do they switch? You have two choices. When you first load into the beta, you will have nothing set to the swap key, the swap command in your key layout. So you'll have to change that if you want to. For me, I set it to 2. And down in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see my character is switching guns back and forth, back and forth. If you are looking down the sights and you hit the button, you will swap your weapons. Now, there is one little neat trick here that if you do have a key press option, in this case, the 2, if you let go of aim and really quickly hit the button, nah, it's not doing it right now. There we go. You can occasionally skip the there we go. You can occasionally skip the entire swap animation, which will give you a faster change. There we go. Now obviously this is the rifle, this is the pistol, etc. This is perfect. It's amazing. What this means is that you can now equip a suppressed pistol to go with your 50 cal. Great. Juggernauts aren't a problem anymore. And now you can deal with bloaters and ferals and screamers without having to go into your inventory, swap weapons, shoot them at range, and worry about massive amounts of zombies coming in. So, amazing change, 100% needed in the game in order to improve your usability and your inventory management. One nice thing is that the secondary slot is not in your backpack, so it's something completely different, right? There you go. Very nice. Do you have to carry 2 ammo types? If you want to. You don't have to. You know, I personally won't be, but it's up to you. Manage as you will. Next part. The density of the plague fog in plague territory. You can see it right here. As we get closer to a plague cart, it starts to get a little denser. You can't see as well. And then when you drive away, it thins out. There we go. And it's nearly gone at the very edge of the cloud. Why is this important? Previously, in areas like this, where the plague hearts would overlap, you got to a point with plague density where you could almost not see. That is no longer the case. Even in the densest areas in a lethal map, you are not going to be visually impaired from seeing zombies that are coming after you. Great change. Great change. In general, I think that was really needed because there were a few times when I was playing where I would be like outside in my car and there were 4 plague carts right nearby, and then suddenly zombies, and when they bite you, you're plagued almost instantly, and that's all she wrote. And then on lethal mode, you know, if that happened to you, you know, you were in a much more difficult position than, you know, maybe was necessary from kind of how you were playing at the time. which brings us to the next bit, and that is zombie spawning indoors. Undead Labs has put in a fix so that zombies are not endlessly spawning inside anymore. If you kill the zombies that are in here, then you should no longer be getting that kind of super annoying, you know, oh, I killed everything, but now there are suddenly more. So that has been fixed. Still testing it, making sure that everything is gravy there, but I have not had a replication since the patch went out. Now, obviously, this is only, you know, a couple hours since patch went out, but it's not that bad. Now, right there is another change that we're going to go over later, which is the bite damage on lethal. That's going to be a separate section. We're going to talk about that. So now, we are in the plague area. We are next to the plague cart. We can still see the density of the fog is not that bad. We are not getting a bunch of zombie spawns. Perfect. Fantastic. That is needed. It's necessary. You can see that this area is claimed by the plague cart in the top left. All good. Happy with it. One minor thing that was changed that I don't know if it is going to be in patch notes just because it's something that has been adjusted, but the timing of the sound and the plague burst on the plague cart has now been matched up again. For those of you who were playing the beta, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there were a lot of cases where you would deal damage to a plague cart and the plague burst would just, suddenly it would be there and you would be plagued. Or you would have inhalation and there was nothing you could do about it. That's been fixed. Another thing that has been adjusted because of the plague density, right? You can actually see now there is a plague cloud. Before, with the density of the ambient plague in the air, it was really hard to tell if or when that plague cloud, the plague burst, was over. All right, so again, it's just a good change. I really enjoy the ambient plague, and I think that it's a good change for the game. I think that it's fun, it's interesting, etc., etc. I like it. All right, one minor change that is, again, just a quality of life thing. Let's take a look over here. Oh, look, we can just leave. Thank you, Undead Labs. Thank you. In order for this to work, you need to have a command center 2, but you no longer have a 20-minute wait to move to another map. You want to move to another map? Build a command center 2 and just leave. Tip of the cap. Thank you. The delay for moving, just it never made sense to me. And the fact that this got updated with very little hoopla is excellent, and I'm extremely happy about it. So next bit. Outposts. Outposts on lethal were broken. They were broken. This might not be on lethal. This might be, I don't know what difficulty this is. Doesn't matter. They were broken. The ability to upgrade outposts was way too cheap for it to be worth it. So now it's a little bit more expensive, right? On lethal, I think it's 1,005 and 5, and then it's 2,010. This needed to happen. This needed to happen. The ability to upgrade outposts was for free, basically, regardless of difficulty. Lethal through green, it was trivial to upgrade outposts, and that made a lot of early game aspects pointless. You didn't have to worry about food. You go down, you immediately upgrade 2 outposts for next to nothing, and food on lethal mode doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. Now let's see what else. Oh, that's right. The big one. All right, let's go to lethal. Hold on. Yeah, no, that's fine. We're gonna lose our car, but I don't care. The elephant in the room. Lethal plague has been diminished. the impact of plague in lethal zone has been rebalanced. What does that mean? That means that within the plague zones, you are no longer going to have a massive increase of when you get hit by a plague zombie. You're not going to have a massive increase in plague when you get bit by a zombie. You are no longer looking at a single bite putting you at 85% plague, and by the time you break out of that bite, you are either at 99% because you've been hit twice, or you're plagued. Also, the other side of that, plague bloaters are mitigated as well. If you hit a plague bloater when you're in your car, you are not going to die almost instantly. You have time to get out. It is still going to do a ton of damage. It is still going to do a lot of plague damage, but you have a chance, right? Does this make lethal easier? Yes. Is it needed? For now, yes, it is. Here's why. And I know that this is going to be a controversial thing to say. I know that there's a lot of pushback on Discord and Twitter about this change. I don't expect it to stay this way. My expectation is that the difficulty is going to move to probably like 60 or 70% on bite. And then, you know, if you get bitten, then you can break out and you'll be, you know, 80% plagued. That's fine. No issue with that. That seems like it's the proper amount. The main problem with having the game so that if you are bit, you are at 90% plague is that there are a lot of scenarios where you as a character have no ability to mitigate the likelihood of being hit. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that every single zombie in this game has the ability to dive around corners and bite you, for the most part. And that is something that you can't predict. It's something that you can't really game around. It's something that happens. And when it happens, there's nothing you can do. You're hit, you're suddenly hit, you're suddenly bit, and just like that, you're plagued. And it from a gameplay standpoint, it's not good. All right, it's not good. It's not a good way. It's not a good feeling to lose a character that way. And it's important for a game to be hard but fair. And when there is a mechanic within the game that makes it so that the difficulty is secondary and you have to try and gameplay around an unintended mechanic, it's no longer a case of the game being hard, and it's no longer a case of get good, scrub. It's a case of, okay, well, the zombies are all professional NFL linebackers that have the ability to, you know, contort their bodies to dive around corners and kill your characters willy-nilly. That doesn't feel good. It's not a great way to lose a character. It's not a fun way to lose a character. And yeah, it needed to change. As someone who does a lot of speedruns with lethal mode, I can tell you that it was frustrating. It was frustrating to lose a character that way, and it needed to be adjusted. Beyond just that, we're also looking at the fact that screamers have been adjusted, bloaters have been adjusted so that you are no longer going to instantly die if a bloater spawns on your car. Now, that has happened less often now that the code fix has gone in for it. But when screamers go off on lethal, between 1 and 3 bloaters will be spawned every single time. When you get a chorus of screamers, that's where things can get a little dicey with your car, and it is entirely possible that, you know, you're just screwed. Like, there's nothing you can do. You're just hosed. And so, you know what? I don't think I made a med bay here, so this person's probably dead. That's funny. This is, I mean, obviously this is a scenario I don't really care about, but it's interesting to show. It's important that this change was made because as a beta, you want to balance things so that it's hard but fair and fun. And like I said, I fully expect this to be adjusted moving forward. I expect the percentages to change. This needed to happen. It needed to happen. I have no issue with how it went about or the changes or anything like that. It just, yeah. With so many different ways, and I can, even just now, I just thought of a couple others that were very frustrating within Lethal that would get you basically instantaneously plagued with nothing you could do about it. Dodging a feral attack and having it give you 75% plague. Not the best feeling in the world. Being inside a building and a Juggernaut pounds on the door. I'm up here, the Juggernaut pounds on the door right there, and I get 75% plague. Not a great feeling. A feral diving on the street, you drive over them, and you get plagued. Rare, but it happens. Again, not a great feeling. Like, all of these things require a mitigation of the symptom before a fix can be put in place. If a fix can be put in place. Because again, like, that's a scenario that's going to get people to stop playing that difficulty if it's not addressed. And so, did it make Lethal easier? Yeah. Is it going to stay that way? Probably not. But for right now, it's fine. Like, just take a deep breath. It'll be okay. Lethal will still be hard. And if it's not hard enough for you, there are mods available that can make it harder. Like, that's just how it is. You can agree, disagree. You know, I respect, you know, both sides of the equation. But I think that's, it was an important change. It needed to happen. I'm happy with how they did it. But I do hope that in future patches, it gets bumped back up a little bit. And that's kind of it. That's all that I've found so far. I'm sure that there are other changes. I'm sure there will be other patch notes that come out that will go over other things. What do you guys think? Have you been enjoying the beta? Have you been playing this newest branch? Let me know in the comments, and thank you as always for watching. I hope you're enjoying State of Decay 2, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you. Bye now.